Quite stylish. Is this the man of the hour? Yes, it is. Big Hodge here with a new episode of Squares and Circles. Yes, I'm the host, Big Hodge. And like my man in Workaholics had said, F your grapes.
Hey, Jillian. Yo, grapes!
Anyway, on this episode, I want to talk about the clouds versus the clout. We're going to get into it. Now, being that I've been behind the camera from, let's say, 2010, 2011, I've seen a perspective of so many things behind the camera. I get to see what's real, I get to see what's fake, but also at the same time, I got to assess the information, process it, and, kind of make my own choices about how I'm going to move. And I saw a lot of things, and I saw a lot of people doing some tactics that kind of, swayed me to the left or swayed me to the right. That's the whole perception of clouds versus clout. Now, in perspective, I've seen where, all right, let's get into it. So the situation of the clouds is more attained to the dreamers. The dreamers have their head in the clouds, have the biggest visions, the biggest aspirations. And the number one fault that they have is that they can't find a way to execute. They can never channel their way to execute. It's a thing that holds them back. It's always the what ifs, the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Everything sounds great. All of their plans, all of their visions, the creativities, the plan for the execution, but it just never comes into fruition. And here's the thing. With the clouds and the dreamers, there's always potential for things to change later on, because they must experience all of the mistakes that has been thrown their way in their path. They have big visions, but they just lack the confidence to gather upon themselves to move forward. What's the next thing? I think it mainly comes from their surroundings, because being around enablers of procrastination is a big setback. And I know that dreamers always have those that co-sign or gaslight them in the sense to where nothing goes into fruition. The sense of comfortability and also the lack of confidence. There's never a do or die situation that makes them go out and execute with the sense of urgency. Here's another attribute of clouds. The dreamer, the one with the head in the clouds, as we say. They always have high aspirations. Just like I said, the surroundings plays a major part. Could be easily influenced by energy drainers, by time wasters, and all of those in such of abundance, because if there's lack of execution in a plan for a vision, then I guess that they're seeking so much validation or seeking a way out by those of their surroundings. And aspirations is one of those things. They, have the highest plateau of potential and always be the one in the crowd that has the potential, but things kind of fall short based off of your surroundings. I can always tell you where you're going to be just based off of your friends. Your friends lead to connections. Your friends lead to networking. Your friends can lead to a door opening. But it's all about how you read rooms, change scenarios. I was a dreamer. I was a big dreamer until situations hit and arise and make you shift of how you think. And I started reading rooms. I started to like that saying, if you're the smartest one in the room, you must change rooms. I am an avid room changer. Let's go to the flip side. If we go to the flip side, you have the cloud chasers, the clouders, okay? Clouders, they're great at manipulating for execution. They're great at it. They'll do it numerous amount of times. Those are usually the guys or the gals with short-term plans, the quick money schemes, the quick get over. But they have such a way because they do it in a mass variety of executions. They have so many ways that they execute a plan for short-term, goals. That's it. And there's numerous amounts of time that is done. And you know why? Because of the execution on the numerous amounts of times, the manipulation amounts of times done over and over. So they develop the repetition in executing for short-term goals. Getting money, get by, get over, the hustle. So another attribute that a clout chaser or a clouder might have is that they claim vision. And usually their vision isn't but so far. It's just to get by for the time being. And when you throw manipulation into the mix, hell, you're bound to fall short. But they don't care as long as they get the one up over the person that they're manipulating or the situation they're manipulating. And it's how many times can that be done? That's based off of repetition. If the repetition works of manipulation, it might develop into a long-term thing. Who knows? Clouders, never doubters. And when we're talking about another attribute or tally on the board, when it comes to the clout chaser or the clouder, between short-term thinking and the manipulation factor, you only empower them when they seek an empowerment. So when they're seeking empowerment, the manipulation levels go higher. We cannot empower them. They fall short when you don't participate or when you don't empower. Bottom line. Do not empower the empowerment of manipulation, the quick clout chase, the fanfare. Everything is disingenuous and how they get over on people. Now, here's the thing. My verdict is that someone with their head in the clouds can have a revelation, take whatever superpower that deems them a dreamer, and within a quick click of a button, they could change. They could learn how to execute. They could learn about repetition. They could learn about dedication. They could learn on how to turn dreams into reality. Their head would no longer be in the clouds, but they have aspirations to reach for that mountaintop. Now, here's my assessments: clouds versus clouders, clouds versus cloud chasers, dreamers versus make-believers. Man, I have so many assessments. I had so many situations throughout all the years since being Big Hodge Media, the business. I've seen so many things behind the scenes. I was a dreamer. My head was in the clouds, but certain things clicked. And I've seen a lot of manipulation. Hell, I've even been manipulated. I didn't like that feeling. So I did what was right. I turned those dreams from the head in the clouds into something that was forging forward long term. And long term comes from repetition of everyday practices. What's your practice? We'll figure this out when I come up with another assessment. All right, we're going to go to the sponsorship. We're going to take a quick commercial break and go through our sponsor, IChoose Mogul. Here's a quick commercial. Then after that, I'll go in the question section and give another assessment. Oh, yeah. It feels good to be back. That was a word from our sponsorship, IChoose Mogul, the good folks over at IChoose Mogul. Make sure you head to the website, get all the funky fresh wears and all the sleek styles from here and beyond. So I usually do a Hodge assessment. That's where we determine things of squares and circles. Anonymous number 2 seems to shoot a message and says, well, Hodge, how do I deal with toxic relationships? From a friendship level to a relationship level to just an abundance of my surroundings. Well, when it comes to toxicity, it's all about what you attract. So you have to question self. Is there certain things that I'm putting out that is a magnet, is attracting these toxic relationships, these toxic people, these toxic habits, these toxic things? And you have to assess on your everyday being to understand what it is that you're attracting. I mean, sometimes things does happen out of the blue, but excuse me. I mean, things are in the universe as a repeated abundance of practices. So, toxic relationships. I would say you have to hit the kill switch if you want to do so. And the kill switch doesn't come with just those on the outside of self. It means that you have to cut off bad habits, bad practices. Because life is a boomerang. Whatever you throw is going to come right back to you. Cutting off these toxic relationships might be toxic practices that you have within yourself that need to be broken. You need an abundance of newly searched happiness and finding and getting in touch with self and finding what it is that you want and what it is that you don't want in your life. It's, setting boundaries. And once you start wanting better for yourself, well, guess what? The universe is going to say, hey, here you go. It's an abundance of betterment. The greatest lyricist, I think, based off between 1 and 2, between Nas and Lupe Fiasco, he said, small worlds have lesser worlds down to viscosity. Create your own reality, create your own world, and it steadily revolves. Good vibrations bring good vibrations. Great vibrations bring great vibrations. Just keep it going in abundance. So my assessment of the situation, toxic relationships, they could be a nay. I'm going to have to go ahead and cancel that out. That could be a nay. Because I don't believe in toxicity in my realm, in my reality, in my world. So definitely give the nay to toxic relationships. Anyway, that was the episode, baby. That was the episode. It's over. It's a wrap. Make sure that you click like, subscribe, and share this episode of Squares and Circles. Follow me on Instagram as well at Big Hodge Media NYC. And let's get this video in YouTube's algorithm. Let's bump it up. And I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. Can we get to 1,000 subs? Let's get Big Hodge to 1,000 subs, because I'm pretty sure the message and this energy all here, this guy with the hat, is good for YouTube algorithm. Anyway, see you next episode, Squares and Circles. I'm out. Peace.